Okay, morning year 10, time for our second video about quadratic graphs this time. So remember, a quadratic graph is where you've got a power of a 2 on the x, and one of the graphs we'll be looking at later on this week is power 3, or even when it's a fraction with the x. Same process again, we're going to do a table of values. Now normally when we're doing our table of values we're going to go between minus 3 and 3. For this one we're going to go between minus 3 and positive 4. So look out from the question, it'll tell you exactly where to go to and from. So I've got x is minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to use the same for y. Now again, I'm going to use my calculator this time, it makes life a little bit easier. Remember not to use the squared button. So the first thing I'd be looking at with this question here is I'd be looking at actually what goes on in this equation if I'm writing this out. Well, that's the same as going 2 times x times x. So then I've got minus 4 times x and then take away 16. And that's exactly what I'm going to put into my calculator. So you'll be able to see it coming up on the top here. My first one, I'm going to do 0 first to make life as easy as I can. I've got 2 times 0 times 0. Then minus 4 times 0. Let's put that in properly. So 2 times 0 times 0 minus 4 times 0. Then take away 16. Okay, put that in, I get minus 16. Let's do the same with 1. 2 times 1 times 1, minus 4 times 1, minus 16. And putting it in like this means your calculator will cope quite happily. So minus 18 this time. Do the same with 2. 2 times 2 times 2, minus 4 times 2, minus 16. I get minus 16. For 3, 2 times 3 times 3, minus 4 times 3, minus 16, gives me minus 10. And for 4, 2 times 4 times 4, minus 4 times 4, minus 16. Okay, just made a mistake there, put 44 in. So 2 times 4 times 4, minus 4 times 4, minus 16, gives me 0. Now I do know that quadratics are going to be symmetrical, so I'm going to guess that this one here, minus 1, is going to be minus 10. In the exam they normally fill a few in to make sure that you're okay and you've got the right things. So let's try it. 2 times, and because this is negative 1, I have to use the negative button on my calculator. On the school calculators it's down this side somewhere, on mine it's at the bottom. But I get 2 times negative 1 times negative 1. If you use the takeaway it's not going to work at this point. Minus 4 times negative 1 minus 16. It gives me minus 10. Okay, so I can see that I've got my symmetry. This one's 0 because it's going to be symmetrical, just minus 3 to go. 2 times minus 3 times minus 3, minus 4 times minus 3, minus 16, and I get positive 14. So the difficult bit here is working out your table. Once I've done my table though, I can start to plot my graph. So x is going from minus 3 to 4. Big variation in y, down from minus 18 up to plus 14. So I've got to make sure I get plenty of space on my axes to enable me to be able to plot those graphs. So for x, just like before, I'm going all the way across, should be filling a page. For y, going to the top. Let's label my axes up, so 4 squares for my x. 4 squares in both directions. Now for my y-axis I've got to go quite a variety of numbers, so I've got to go up to plus 14 and down to minus 10. So I can't quite make every square worth 1, so I'm going to do 2 squares is worth 4. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Same for my negatives, minus 4, minus 8, minus 12, minus 16, minus 20. So I've got my axes, I've made sure they're consistent, so I can now start to plot my points. So 0 is minus 16, 1 is minus 18, 2 minus 16, 3 minus 10, I need to go to 4 on this axis, which was 0. Same the other way. I've got -1 minus 10. I've got -2 and 0. And I've got -3 and +14. And we can see that my graph makes a lovely smooth curve. Now, if you're right-handed, sometimes it's easier to do it the other way. I'm going to do my very best to do it without moving the camera again. So I join my points up. Should be one nice smooth curve. So it gets down to the bottom and it comes back up. Okay, label my graph. Y equals 2x squared minus 4x minus 16, and I've plotted a perfect quadratic. 3 questions on Google Classroom. Send me your pictures of your work. Have a good day.